In today's video, I'll be watching a ton of replay files from arguably the best North American professional Rocket League team, NRG. And today I'm focusing my attention on SquishyMuffinz, and I'll be breaking down what aspects of his gameplay and characteristics have made him into the superstar he is today. SquishyMuffinz has got to have one of the most sought after and copied playstyles you have ever seen in competitive Rocket League. You can't blame people for trying though, because this comes from his seamlessly effortless ability to be able to pull out an insanely high level and difficult solo play when his team needs it. Anytime they're down and looking like they're out, Squishy will absolutely pop off and bring his team back into the series. There's so much more going on though than just the fancy ceiling shots and flip resets that this guy scores. Under the surface, he's got nearly unrivaled game sense and experience. This is something that's come from the insane amount of hours he has in the game, but more importantly, it's come from the mindset he has while playing. And we're going to dive into all of that right now so you guys can learn how to play like SquishyMuffinz. But probably not. The reason we all know the name SquishyMuffinz is also the thing that led Squishy to become an RLCS Season 6 World Champion. His insane solo plays and his ability to swing the momentum of a game and a series with one huge play. Plain and simple, that's what won them Season 6 RLCS, were the insane solo plays that all of Cloud9 were hitting, but especially SquishyMuffinz. For a very lucky few, at the highest level of professional Rocket League, there will come a precious moment when you'll pull off an incredible play that will forever go on to define your career. And it'll be the play that people continually look back to and evaluate your worth with. Some people might call it luck, some people might call it secret sauce, but because Squishy's able to pull off these miraculous plays against the best competition in the world over and over again, I think it's best that it just be known as his clutch factor.
This was the scoreline of game 3. Cloud9 unable to take it to Squishy. Now Daily puts it through. He's been going for this stuff all season, and he pulls it off here in the most clutch moments. The player to invent the shot himself is able to get the delayed front flip and just destroy Method on defense. Even they have to be impressed.
Whether it be the unheard of amount of highlight goals he's generated throughout his career, or it be the plays that you know he's going to continue to create and that he displays every time you watch him on stream or at a live event. Squishy's apparent ability to uproar an audience and his teammates is something that every professional team is scared of. Rocket League isn't a sport like football, basketball, or even soccer where you can commit one or two of your best players to shutting down a single person from popping off. Competitive Rocket League is simply 3 versus 3, and to shut down a clutch player like Squishy requires the attention from 100% of the team. This often leaves holes for the rest of his team to take advantage of. That's what makes NRG one of the scariest teams to play right now in Rocket League, because quite frankly, every player on that team has the insane clutch factor, and it's simply impossible to keep 3 clutch players from doing something insane to score on you and shift the momentum in their favor with only 3 people on your team. The second thing that makes this guy a top tier Rocket League pro is his stone cold mentality he brings to the game, and the fact that he tries to leave his emotions on the sidelines when spawning onto the pitch.
Absolute obliteration, and if you look over at Squishy on the stage, he's still just stone cold killer.
If you're a Squishy fan, then you know that this is one of his trademark personality quirks that makes Squishy a real muffin man. While his fans and audience might wish they sometimes got a reaction out of him to add some extra hype to the play, the other side of that double-edged sword is the benefit of being super consistent and nearly untiltable in game. How many times have you lost a ranked game and brought those negative emotions into your next game and then lost again because you failed to reset yourself and do what needed to be done for that game? Or even on the opposite spectrum, how many times have you hit an incredible goal and then still lost the game because you were too focused on hitting a nice shot, or because you stopped trying as hard after coming down from your adrenaline rush? While it may not be something that average players or even some high-level players think about, this is one of Squishy's undoubtable keys to consistent success. I think that I can honestly count on one hand the amount of times this guy has placed outside of top 5 for a major event since winning DreamHack Atlanta all the way back in 2017. Squishy's real name is Mariano Arruda. Why the heck did I just tell you that? Because you may or may not have just learned something new, and learning new things is part of what's kept Squishy around the Rocket League scene for as long as he has been, and what keeps him at the top of the competition. After playing the game for over 10,000 hours, you would think he'd be the most consistent player in the world, never whiffing a ball and being able to execute everything perfectly 100% of the time. You'd also think that he'd be bored of the game by now. Anyone would after 10,000 hours. Well, the thing is that Rocket League's skill ceiling still hasn't been reached after years and years of people playing and competing. The game is ever evolving, and so is Squishy. One thing I've noticed about Squishy's gameplay while making this video and watching his scrimmage games is that he makes mistakes more often than you'd think. Not because he hasn't been grinding and is starting to become less consistent, but because he goes for a lot of unorthodox touches that you don't see many people go for because they know the chance of success is pretty low. However, Squishy constantly pushes himself to be able to do harder and harder things in the game. Read harder bounces, reach for harder and more awkward aerials, and go for harder solo plays that are harder for people to defend. While it may not be the optimal play in the moment, if he continues to push himself to do these things and go for these plays, eventually it could lead to him mastering these touches, aerials, and mechanics that were once thought to be, quote, suboptimal, which in the future of Rocket League may actually become optimal and the new thing that separates the good from the best.
Also, I get this question a lot because I've played so many hours. People always ask me, you've played so many hours, how do you stay interested in the game? How do you still enjoy this game after playing all these hours? For me, it's just keeping the game fresh. So I try to learn new things all the time. So when I see someone do something new, I try to practice it. So double flipper sets is something that I've been practicing for, probably like a month now. That's something new that, I can get on every day and try to focus on improving it. And that's something that, keeps the game super fresh. Just going for new mechanics, trying to keep the game feeling new. If you do the same thing every single day, you don't push yourself to improve, you don't try anything new, you're not going to get that much better, and you're not going to enjoy the game at the same time. So that's like a huge thing that I think helps a lot in terms of playing a long time and trying to still enjoy what you're doing, you know what I mean?
What makes any player a great professional in this game is having a recipe of gameplay with the proper balance of ingredients,
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create Squishy,
combined into one award-winning souffle. While I said that Squishy goes for a lot of risky and suboptimal plays in scrimmage games, there's nothing on the line there. Those games are there for that exact purpose, to improve and push yourself while still playing against the best players in the world. But when it comes time to play for your pride, money, trophies, and titles, Squishy has cooked up an award-winning batch of muffins. They're squishy without the expensive taste. In other words, Squishy knows how to dial back the unorthodox plays he goes for in scrimmages and in ranked, and play super consistently while still maintaining and threatening that clutch factor we talked about earlier. Whenever the opponent slips and doesn't bring their full attention and effort to a single moment in the game, and they give this guy too much free space and time on the ball, he unleashes those hours and hours of constantly pushing himself to bring out that play that gets everyone cheering and will probably seal the deal. Overall, it's Squishy's crazy clutch playmaking and scoring ability, combined with the fact that he doesn't get tilted or overhyped, and he's constantly pushing himself to be better and better and go for harder and harder mechanics and plays, and constantly improve, while also being able to dial it back when the time calls for it and just be that consistent rock that we know he can be. These are the things that make SquishyMuffinz a top-tier professional Rocket League player. And knowing these things, hopefully you can take some of them and implement them into your own gameplay to at least play a little bit more like SquishyMuffinz.
NRG's up next. One of us is going to be out already, which sucks. But let's see what happens.